Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you today on a freezing cold Thursday, and a day that feels more like midwinter to these aged old bones than it does to late spring. We're only a few days away from May. Howling winds, freezing cold temperatures. But the mail came through regardless. We don't have any boxes, but we have a nice little stack of envelopes here. And a little bit of a periodical. We have the Martha's Vineyard Gazette. This broadsheet paper, the black and white paper, beautiful black and white photography, original photography all through it. That's put out on the island of Martha's Vineyard off the coast of Massachusetts. I am the book reviewer for the Martha's Vineyard Gazette, and I have a bunch of stuff lined up. I'm not in this issue, but I have a bunch of stuff lined up. And then the first package that we have here is not a book at all. In fact, I think that it is that wonder of all wonders, a book catalog. We're getting to about the time where you're going to be getting autumn catalogs for publishers, and that, oh yes, indeed, this is indeed a book catalog. I don't know if you could hear any of that with the drag race going on, but this is the new catalog for Soho Press. So what do we have here that's any good? Volume 2 of Lady Joker by Kaoru Takamura. Remember Volume 1? We got Volume 1 on this channel. Now Volume 2 is coming out. Very nice. Very nice. Shudder. Okay, we've already seen Shudder. Quite a bit of good reaction to that from a lot of you. Let's see here. Nicholas Ferraro, translated from the Spanish by Mallory N. Craig Kuhn. A book called Cruise. I'll probably be getting that in due course. Nicholas, the author, was born in Buenos Aires in 1986. This gorgeous and gruesome story of two brothers following in their criminal father's footsteps is the English language debut of Argentinian noir sensation. So those of you in Argentina, do you know this author? Nicholas Ferraro, is he actually a sensation? This is his first time in English. Very good. But then Soho Press is really good. They're a really good press, so that's good. Anything else that really jumps out at me? Oh, there's a new cold storage novel by John Straley. These are so good. These are so good. Blown by the Same Wind. Oh boy, fantastic. Mysterious dreams of grizzly bears, a bumbling FBI agent, and a tense hostage negotiation have the town of Cold Storage, Alaska turned upside down. Fantastic. Those novels are just so good. We have a new Francine Matthews, Death on a Winter Stroll. A no-nonsense Nantucket detective, Mary Folger, grapples with the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic and two murders as the island is overtaken by Hollywood stars and DC suits. I wonder if my editor for the Gazette would let me do this, even though it's not the Vineyard. We have a new James Benn book, From the Shadows. This series is so good as well. These are all series. A lot of these are series stuff, and I've just grown to love them. And a new Peter Lovesey. No cover art for it, but it's called Showstopper. The cast and crew of a hit British TV show is rumored to be cursed, but are these spooky deaths coincidences or murder? It's up to Bath detective Peter Diamond to find out. Great. Fantastic. Okay, so I will go through a lot of this and make out me picks. But anyway, let's look at the packages here and see if we have anything that's squeal-worthy. I haven't had anything that's squeal-worthy in a little while. Let's see. Trying to cut down on the ambient noise, but I haven't played back any video. Oh, fantastic! Great. Great. All right. This is the finished copy of a book that I've already read, and it's fantastic. I strongly recommend it if the subject interests you. This is by Trip Mickle, and it is called After Steve. And it's all about Apple after Steve Jobs died. And his two top lieutenants, who have radically different visions for the company, are left in charge. This is coming out on May 3rd, so just next week. And it has a ton of blurbs now. Great. Fantastic. Okay. Well, some of you won't know this, right? Because some of you won't have seen me talk about it the first time. So let's see here. Trip Mickle is the technology reporter for the New York Times. And this is... not true. I thought he was. Okay, all right. I thought that was a problem. All right. The pump sheet says Trip Mickle is technology reporter for the New York Times. His biography on the book Dust Jacket says that he's technology reporter for the Wall Street Journal. So, I guess I'll have to talk to him and find out which is which. This is a dramatic behind-the-scenes tale of the tech giant's struggle following Steve Jobs' death, revealed through the career arcs of top lieutenants, Chief Design Johnny Ive, and Chief Executive Tim Cook, whose differing visions for Apple's future altered its identity. Jobs called Ive his spiritual partner and considered the British designer to be the second most powerful person at Apple. A creative force, Ive embodied Jobs' spirit and designed products that literally changed the world: the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. Following the death of his friend and longtime collaborator, he wrestled with grief and threw himself into work on Apple's headquarters and smartwatch, even as he became increasingly displaced inside a company devoted more to margins than to inspiration. And the margins part is Tim Cook, who brought on here. I don't know that Trip Mickle is trying to give you a good versus evil view here. I don't think this is quite that simple a view, but you're not going to come out liking Tim Cook at all. All right, well, great. This isn't finished copy. This comes out really soon. It comes out in May, and it's a recommend. Great. It's great to start this whole thing with something that I can recommend. So let's gently open this next one and see what it is. Oh no! Oh no! This is the second copy of After Steve. All right. Well, if one of you is interested in this book, we now have what on any other BookTube channel would be called a giveaway, and you would all have to enter. You'd all have to answer some stupid pandering question in the comments field. I would use some sort of random number generator instead of picking an answer, and then I would mail it to you. This isn't a normal channel. This is a weird channel, so I guess just email me, let me know if you want a copy of this book. I'm not going to mail it outside the United States, because mailing it outside the United States means that the postage will be $75 at least, and it has a less than 50-50 chance of reaching you, and only a 10% chance of that. So it's going to have to be the mail in America is bad enough. But if this interests you, if, for instance, you read Walter Isaacson's biography of Steve Jobs, then I now have 2 copies. Okay, great. Hoping these aren't all copies of the book. That would be a little anticlimactic. No, this next one is a paperback of some kind. What have we got here? Oh, no. Oh, no. It's another book trying to convince me that math is interesting. This is Fantastic Numbers and Where to Find Them. A Cosmic Quest from Zero to Infinity by Antonio Padilla. Fantastic Numbers and Where to Find Them. It's got a blurb from Sean Carroll, who's a terrific writer in his own right, but I don't know. Bean, what are you doing? Frida, what are you doing? Something bothering you up there? Sometimes she just gets into a licking zen, and she has to be just woken up out of it. Lucy was the same way. Let's see here. In this book, the leading theoretical physicist and YouTube star, Antonio Padilla, I'm a YouTube star. I should know all of the YouTube stars. We have secret meetings. Never heard of this guy. Takes us on an irreverent cosmic tour of 9 of the most extraordinary numbers in physics, offering a startling picture of how the universe works. These strange numbers include Graham's number, which is so large that if you thought about it in the wrong way, your head would collapse into a singularity. And then Tree, with the letter 3 in parentheses, whose finite nature can never be definitively proved, because to do so would take so much time that the universe would experience a Poincaré recurrence, resetting to precisely the state it currently holds down to the arrangement of individual atoms. See what I mean? This is all science fiction. This is all absolute fantasy. This is the same thing as saying that a dryad lives in a tree. And I don't know even how to say the other one. It's 10, it's some symbols, it's negative 120. I don't even know how to say it. Let's see, how is it described? Measuring the desperately unlikely balance of energy needed to allow the universe to exist for more than just a moment. To extend beyond the size of a single atom. In other words, the mystery of our unexpected universe. Okay, it's here, and I firmly believe that this weird number with a weird name has no more ability to explain why it's here than I do, or Frida does. Anyway, leading us down the rabbit hole to a deeper understanding of reality, the author explains how these unusual numbers are the key to understanding such mind-boggling phenomena as black holes, relativity, and the problem of the cosmological constant. That the two best and most rigorously tested ways of understanding the universe contradict one another. Well, okay, so this is going to be interesting, very much interesting. I think a lot of it is going to go straight over my head, but I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can to scramble along after the author. I wonder, does the author have any experience explaining this to people like me? He's a leading theoretical physicist and cosmologist at the University of Nottingham. Okay. He's associate director of the new Nottingham Centre of Gravity and has served as the chair of the UK cosmology for over a decade. Okay. In 2016, he and his collaborators shared the Buchalter Cosmology Prize for their work on the cosmological constant. Okay. He is also a star on the Numberphile YouTube network, where his most popular videos include a discussion of Ramanujan's sum of all positive integers, which has been viewed more than 7 million times. Okay, it doesn't sound like he has any ability trying to get me to understand this, but I will give it a try. This comes out in late July, so I have time to put it off. Baby, cut it out. Let's hope this next one is about Robert Louis Stevenson. That would be great. What do we have here? Oh, great. Okay. Fantastic. This is, oh wow, this is going to have lots of blurbs in it. Does it have a Kirkus blurb? A Kirkus blurb would be nice. Yes, it does. This is something we've seen on this channel before, but this is the paperback. This is the new paperback from Basic Books. This is Martin Rady's book, The Habsburgs, To Rule the World, which is now out in paperback. Very nice. Very good. So what do we have here? This is going to be a $20 paperback if you're at your bookstore. I don't have a sheet on it, so it's probably out already. In this book, the author tells the epic story of a dynasty and the world they built and then lost over nearly a millennium. From the modest origins in the Middle Ages, the Habsburgs built up a block of land in Austria and in the 15th century became Holy Roman Emperors, dominating much of Central Europe. Then in just a few decades after 1500, their possessions rapidly expanded to take in a large part of Europe, stretching from Hungary to Spain and Portugal and parts of the New World and the Far East. They continued to govern Central Europe through the First World War. Historians often depict the Habsburgs as leaders of a disorganized and disunited empire, but the author here reveals and explains their enduring power, which was driven by the belief that they were destined to rule the world as defenders of the Roman Catholic Church. I remember really liking this. Now I have the paperback, so that's great, because I don't have the hardcover anymore. The hardcover's long gone. So there you go. That is our mail. And a little bit of compulsive licking by the bean, who was a little bit disappointed by the weather. We're both of us feeling a desire to go out and get good and tired, and neither one of us wanted to go out walking in the bitter cold with blasting wind that just wouldn't stop. I know that spring-like weather is coming. I know that it's probably right around the corner. I haven't had the heart to check, but I'm sure that it's right around the corner. But it's not here today. Imagine still having the heat on with it almost May. Ridiculous. Considering the summer that I think we are overwhelmingly likely to get, the fact that it's so slow to arrive, just extra ironic. But anyway, we have the Habsburgs, To Rule the World. This is in trade paperback. Rather nice little trade paperback. We have fantastic numbers and where to find them. Not coming out until the end of the summer. And then 2 copies of Trip Mickle's After Steve, which is a really involving book. It's a really well-done story about what happened to Apple after Steve Jobs. And Apple, of course, is still steamrolling along. So it certainly, I mean, it's tech reporting, but it's done with narrative flair. And it was going to affect me anyway. I was going to read it with intense attention anyway because I'm an Apple fanboy. I have all of the devices that pub sheet listed. I have a MacBook. I have an iPhone. I have an iPad. I have an iPad mini. So it was of interest to me because these things don't come out of a void. They are made by a company. and somewhere at that company, somewhere along the line, someone has to decide to make those things. And I was fascinated by the clash of visions in the book. I think between this book and Isaacson's biography of Steve Jobs, I think I have a pretty good idea. I can't stand to listen to the man, so I haven't listened to any interviews. But I think I have a pretty good idea of the vision that he wanted for what Apple would be. I think I have a pretty good idea of that. I think he wanted simple, elegant, no moving parts, no accessories, just simple, elegant, works for you. Might pay a premium for it, but it's simple, it's elegant, and it works for you. It doesn't negotiate with you. You don't need to know anything about it to get it to work for you. And so I can understand why, Apple now makes accessories. They make, pencils for their drawing slates. They make keyboards. And you can sense the tug of war, and that's very interesting. I wonder. I'm sure I'm not the only person who wonders what Apple's products would look like if Steve Jobs were still alive, if he were still running things and being the final arbiter of what an Apple product looks like. I wonder what that would be like. I have some ideas. I think. Well, anyway, I'm no expert, but I have a second copy of this book. So if one of you is interested in it, just answer, the question: why do you love me? Tell me how much you love me in the comments down below. You don't have to comment on the video; just email me, and I will. I'll send it to you. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.